This is not self-help. This is healing. Body, nervous system, wholeness. Energy medicine, Ayurveda-inspired living, herbal wisdom. Learn, heal, and be together. Wholeness isn't fixing, it's integrating. Evolve Global 22's Healing Light Studio. Understanding begins here. Healing happens here. Wholeness lives within you. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Evolve Global 22's Healing Light Studio and our healing circle. I am so glad you're here tonight. This week we've been inside E, emotions, and we're moving slowly on purpose. On Monday, we named a foundational truth. Emotion is information. On Tuesday, we explored why emotions feel unsafe, especially when they once cost us connection. And tonight, my friends, we take the next step together. We're talking about something many of us were never taught: how to stay with emotion without flooding and without suppressing. Because most of us learned two extremes: either collapse into emotion or shut it down. But there is a third option, and that's what we're building here. Not intensity, not emotional performance, not emotional control. Capacity. Capacity to feel without losing yourself. Capacity to stay without shutting down. Capacity to let emotion move without letting it define you. We are not rushing this. We are building something steady. And steadiness changes everything. Earlier this week, as I said, we began with a foundational shift. On day one, we talked about emotion as information, not identity, not weakness, not moral failure. Information about boundaries, information about needs, information about capacity. That reframed emotion from something to eliminate into something to understand. Then, on day two, we took it deeper. We explored emotions can feel unsafe, especially when at some point in our lives they cost us connection. If sadness led to dismissal, if anger led to punishment, if fear led to shame, the nervous system learned something. Emotion equals risk. So when emotion rises now, even if the present moment is safe, the body may brace. That's not immaturity, my friends. That's memory. So we have established two truths. Emotion is information, and emotion can feel unsafe. Now we ask a very important question. If emotion is information, and if emotion can feel unsafe, how do we stay with emotion without collapsing into it or without suppressing it? Because most of us learn two survival strategies: collapse or control, flooding or shutting down, but neither of those builds capacity. Tonight, my friends, we explore the third option: staying with emotion without losing yourself, staying with emotion without abandoning yourself. This, my friends, is emotional steadiness, and steadiness is built, not demanded. Tonight, we will experience this together. We are not diving into emotional intensity. We are building understanding. Here is what we will explore together: the difference between feeling and flooding. Many people believe that if they start feeling something, they will lose control. But feeling and flooding are not the same. Feeling is the ability to experience emotion while remaining present. Flooding is when emotional intensity exceeds our current capacity. Feeling allows awareness. Flooding overwhelms awareness. Tonight, my friends, we will clarify that distinction so you can recognize when you are feeling and when you are overloaded. That clarity alone reduces shame and is empowering. We will also explore why overwhelm happens. Overwhelm does not mean you are weak. Overwhelm happens when emotions activate old memory, the nervous system moves into threat mode, and intensity rises faster than regulation. We will look at overwhelm not as a personality flaw, but as a capacity issue. And capacity, my friends, can be built. Understanding why overwhelm happens removes self-blame and replaces it with strategy. We will also talk about how titration builds steadiness. Titration means small, measured exposure. Instead of processing 100% of an emotion at once, we allow 5%. We pause. That means you stop the story. You stop replaying the entire situation. You stay with just one piece of the emotion, not the whole wave. Regulation, that means you help your body settle by slowing your breath and orienting to the room. This allows your nervous system to come back toward steadiness. Return, that means if you choose, you gently come back to the emotion again for another small increment, not to solve, not to finish it, just to widen capacity a little more. That builds tolerance, my friends. Tonight, we will explore how emotional steadiness is not created by pushing harder, but by pacing intentionally. Steadiness grows through repetition, not intensity. We will also explore how to pause without abandoning emotion. Many people confuse pausing with suppression, but they are not the same. Suppression says, I'm not allowed to feel this. Pausing says, I will come back to this safely. Pausing keeps connection with the emotion without overwhelming. Tonight, we learn how to stay connected without collapsing and without shutting down. This is not becoming emotionally intense. This is about becoming emotionally steady. And steadiness, my friends, changes everything. So let's get into this. Learning point number 1. Flooding happens when intensity exceeds capacity. Overwhelm is not weakness, it is overload. Flooding happens when the intensity of an emotion rises faster than the nervous system can metabolize it. That's so important. It's not that the emotion is too much. It is that the system does not yet have the capacity to hold it safely. Capacity is the nervous system's ability to stay regulated while emotion moves. When capacity is present, you can feel sadness without shutting down. You can feel anger without exploding. You can feel fear without spiraling. When capacity is exceeded, the system shifts into protection. And protection looks like panic, shutting down, snapping, disassociating, over explaining, going numb, or leaving the room emotionally or physically. The shift is not immaturity, it is activation. When emotions trigger past memory, especially memories linked to disconnection, shame, or threat, the body reacts before the mind can reason. The breath shortens, the chest tightens, the jaw clenches. Thoughts accelerate and vision narrows. This is not failure. It's the nervous system doing what it was designed to do, protect. The system doesn't ask, is this moment actually dangerous? It asks, have I felt this before? If the answer is yes, and the past experiences are unsafe, the body activates. That is flooding. Flooding is not the presence of emotion. Flooding is the nervous system moving into survival mode. And survival mode narrows capacity. This is why two people can experience the same situation very, very differently. One feels sadness and stays steady. Another feels sadness and feels overwhelmed. It's not about character. It's about capacity. Capacity can be widened, but first, flooding must be understood without shame. I want you to ask yourself this question. What does flooding look like for me? Do I become loud? Do I become silent? Do I over-explain? Do I shut down? Do I leave the room emotionally? Not to judge, but to recognize. Because what you can recognize, you can begin to regulate. And what you can regulate, you can widen. Now for learning point number 2. Avoidance amplifies emotion. Avoidance amplifies emotion. Emotion avoidance does not eliminate emotion. It delays it. And delayed emotion builds pressure. When an emotional wave begins to rise, the nervous system has a choice point. Feel it or avoid it. Avoidance can look very subtle. It can look like changing the subject, checking your phone, cleaning, over-explaining, spiritualizing the feeling, telling yourself you shouldn't feel that way, or shutting down internally. Avoidance feels relieving in the short term because the nervous system temporarily reduces activation. But what is not processed is not resolved. Emotion that is not metabolized remains in the system. It lingers as tension, as irritability, as low-grade anxiety, as heaviness, as resentment, as numbness. When we avoid the rise of the wave does not disappear. It gathers force. Think of emotional energy like pressure in a container. If the container does not allow release in small increments, pressure accumulates. The next time something small happens, the reaction feels disproportionate, not because the moment is bigger, but because the pressure was already there. Avoidance amplifies emotion because the nervous system interprets repeated avoidance as confirmation that the emotion is dangerous. And what feels dangerous grows louder. If anger is repeatedly pushed down, the system eventually expresses it in sharper ways. If sadness is repeatedly dismissed, it may return as heaviness or withdrawal. If fear is repeatedly minimized, it may reappear as chronic anxiety. Avoidance trains the nervous system to brace, and bracing narrows capacity. Over time, avoidance can create the illusion that emotions are too much. But often, it is not the emotion that is too much. It is the accumulation. Avoidance interrupts emotional digestion, and what is undigested does not leave. Emotional maturity is not about suppressing the waves. It's about allowing the waves to rise and fall in tolerable increments. When emotion is felt in small doses, it moves. When emotion is avoided, it stores, and stored emotion eventually seeks expression. Think about this. What emotion do I quickly distract from? Not to criticize yourself, but to understand your pattern. Because awareness reduces amplification. and awareness begins widening capacity. Learning point number 3. Titration builds tolerance. Now, you do not process 100% of an emotion at once. You allow just 5%. That may sound small, but small is what builds steadiness. Titration is the principle of measured exposure. It means we approach emotional intensity gradually in increments the nervous system can tolerate. When we try to process everything at once, the entire memory, the entire conflict, the entire grief, the system often moves into overload. And overload reduces capacity. When capacity drops, the body shifts into protection. What does protection look like? It looks like panic, shutdown, irritability, disassociation, overthinking, or emotional exhaustion. So the problem is not the emotion itself. The problem is the pace. Most people try to handle everything at once. They replay the entire conversation. They analyze every detail. They try to solve the whole relationship. They revisit the entire history. The nervous system cannot metabolize that volume in one sitting. It interprets intensity as threat. Titration respects pacing. Instead of replaying the entire conflict, you stay with one sentence that hurt, not the tone, not the past history, not the imagined future consequences. Just one sentence. You allow yourself to feel the impact of that single moment. Then you pause. You allow the system to regulate. Then, if capacity allows, you return. This pacing builds tolerance. Tolerance is not about becoming emotionally tougher. It is about expanding the window in which emotion can move without overwhelming the system. When we titrate, we teach the nervous system something new. This is uncomfortable, but not dangerous. Over time, that learning accumulates. The window widens. What once felt like a 9 begins to feel like a 6. What once caused a shutdown becomes tolerable. This is how emotional steadiness is built, not by forcing intensity, not by avoiding intensity, but by pacing exposure. Titration prevents re-traumatization. It prevents flooding. It builds trust between you and your own system. When you process 5% consistently, you eventually metabolize 100%, but safely. Ask yourself this: where do I try to handle everything all at once? Where do I overwhelm myself in the name of healing? Because sometimes when what feels like commitment is actually intensity without pacing, and pacing is wisdom. Now, my friends, learning point number 4. Regulation and emotion can coexist. Many people believe that regulation means calm and that emotion means loss of control. But regulation does not mean the absence of emotion. Regulation means the nervous system remains stable enough to experience emotion without shifting into survival mode. You can feel sadness and stay regulated. You can feel anger and remain present. You can feel fear and still think clearly. Regulation does not eliminate emotion, it contains it. There is a difference between emotional intensity and nervous system dysregulation. Intensity is the presence of feeling. Dysregulation is when the system moves into fight, flight, freeze, or collapse. When regulation and emotion coexist, something important happens. You stay in your body, You stay in the room. You stay connected to yourself. Your breath may change slightly, but it does not disappear. Your chest may feel tight, but you're not bracing against the world. Tears may come, but you are not spiraling. That, my friends, is capacity. Capacity is not stoicism. Capacity is not emotional control. Capacity is the ability to remain oriented while feeling. For many people, emotion has historically meant one of two things: either collapse into it or shut it down. But there is a middle path: emotion with steadiness, emotion without losing yourself, emotion without abandoning yourself. This is what emotional maturity actually looks like. Not the absence of tears, but tears with steady breath. Not the absence of anger, but anger expressed without violence or self erasure. Not the absence of fear, but fear acknowledged without panic taking over. When regulation and emotion coexist, the nervous system learns something new. I can feel this, and I am still safe. That learning rewires expectation. It widens the window of tolerance. It builds internal trust, and internal trust is what makes integration possible. Think about this. Have I ever experienced emotion without collapse? Even once. A moment where you felt deeply but stayed present. That moment matters because it provides capacity, and it means that capacity already exists. And what already exists can be expanded. So, once again, the question is, have I ever experienced emotion without collapse? Learning point number 5: you are allowed to pause. Many people believe that once emotion begins, they must either fully process it immediately or push it away completely. But there is another option. You are allowed to pause. Pausing is not suppression. Suppression says this emotion is not acceptable. Well, or it says I shouldn't feel this, or I need to get rid of this. Pushing or pausing says this matters and I will return to it when I am steady. Suppression disconnects. Pausing maintains connection. Pausing is pacing. Pausing respects capacity. When emotions rise, especially in real time conversation or conflict, the nervous system can accelerate quickly. Thoughts speed up, breath shortens, tone sharpens, defensiveness rises. Without pacing, that activation can move into flooding or shutdown. Pausing interrupts the escalation. It creates space between feeling and reaction, and that space is where regulation lives. Saying, I need a minute, instead of shutting down completely, is an act of emotional maturity. It communicates, I am still here. I am not avoiding this. I am regulating so I can stay. Pausing does not mean walking away forever. It means slowing the nervous system so the emotion can be metabolized safely. Pausing protects relationships. It protects your nervous system. It protects the integrity of the conversation. For many people, pausing feels uncomfortable because it disrupts urgency. For many people, pausing feels, it disrupts urgency, but urgency is often activation, and activation is not clarity. Pausing builds clarity. When you pause, you teach your nervous system something new. I do not have to react immediately to stay safe. This, my friends, this learning widens tolerance. So let's talk about our power of 3. Remember, energy medicine slows the wave. Ayurveda inspired living grounds rhythms, and herbal wisdom is a support and steadiness while processing happens. That's why it's so important to have certain herbal plant-based oils and remedies that you use. Consistency, it builds up within your body over time. Pausing is not weakness, it is self-governance. It is the moment where you choose regulation over reaction, and regulation is what makes emotional maturity possible. This week, we have said emotion is information. Emotion can feel unsafe. Flooding is overload. Avoidance amplifies. Titration builds tolerance. Pausing is where all of that integrates. It is the hinge. Without pause, we collapse or suppress. With pause, we widen and widen, and widening is capacity. Now, my friends, as always, our 5 journal reflection questions. Number 1, what does flooding feel like in my body? Number 2, what emotions do I avoid most? Number 3, what can I practice, or where can I practice 5% tolerance? Number 4, what helps me regulate? And then number 5, what would steadiness look like? Tonight, my friends, we brought clarity to emotional steadiness. Flooding is overload, not failure. When emotions rise faster than your current capacity, the nervous system moves into protection. That shift is not immaturity. It is intensity exceeding tolerance. Understanding that removes shame and replaces it with compassion. Avoidance amplifies. When we push emotion away, it does not disappear. It builds pressure. What is not metabolized accumulates. Avoidance may feel relieving in the moment, but over time, it increases intensity. Suppression is delayed physiology. Titration builds tolerance. You do not process everything at once. You allow small, measured exposure, 5% at a time. When you pace emotional contact instead of forcing intensity, you teach your nervous system that discomfort is not danger. That learning widens the window of tolerance. Regulation and emotion can coexist. Calm is not the absence of feeling. Regulation is the ability to feel without shifting into survival mode. You can experience sadness with steady breath. You can experience anger without losing presence. That coexistence is capacity. Pausing is pacing. A pause is not suppression. A pause is self-governance. It is the space between emotion and reaction. It protects connection. It protects the nervous system. It keeps you engaged without collapsing or exploding. When we put all this together, we see the pattern. Emotion is not the problem. Capacity is the variable, and capacity is built slowly through awareness, pacing, and repetition. We are not becoming emotionally intense. We are becoming emotionally steady. And steadiness, my friends, changes everything. We are building emotional steadiness here, not emotional intensity, not emotional performance, not emotional perfection. Steadiness, the kind that allows you to feel without collapsing, the kind that allows you to stay without shutting down, the kind that widens capacity instead of forcing exposure. On YouTube, we build the foundation. We introduce the concepts. We name the patterns. We normalize the nervous system. Inside Patreon, my friends, we deepen integration. We slow it down. We apply it to real life. We build capacity through repetition. We move from understanding to embodiment. If you are ready to widen your emotional capacity safely, not urgently, not dramatically, but steadily, I invite you to join Evolve Global 22's Healing Circle on Patreon. I am here to support you. That's where we metabolize what we teach here. And whether you join or not, we are building something steady. Peace, love, and light, my friends. I love you all, and I will see you tomorrow in the circle. Every scent carries a story. Energy cleanse clears your space. Ayurvedic balance centers your breath. Herbal heart restores your light. The power of 3 in every drop. Available only at evolveglobal22usa.com. Just look at that. It's so pretty. It's got a bit of a sparkle to it. Very nice to dress up with a pair of slacks. You could wear it a little bit on the business casual side. And this piece is Gently Loved. I believe I wore this maybe one time, maybe twice if I don't remember. But there's no signs of wear on this app. This is a custom-made, real human hair wig. It is a beautiful, beautiful piece. And this, as I said, is custom made. This wig retail, custom made, can run anywhere, depending on where you get it done, between $400 and $600. It's absolutely gorgeous. You can see the hair. Now, let me tell you something about any of the wigs that I sell. As you can see, this is beautiful, a beautiful sheer lace kimono duster in a soft ivory cream tone with an all over floral and medallion pattern. This lightweight flowery piece is perfect for layering over tanks, dresses, or tees. You can use this also at the beach over a bathing suit in the summer. It is lovely. It's Gently Loved, but in excellent, excellent condition. Excellent condition. Let me see if I can get the pattern up here for you. See the patterns, the floral designs? You can see in the back, the medallion pattern. It is absolutely lovely. So soft and flowing. Spring and Summer Picks by Just Debbie. Live shopping and resale. Here we have a Susan Graver style red and gold paisley button front tunic. It is light, it's flowy, it's beautiful. You can wear it as a topper, as a jacket. You can layer it. Lightweight, airy, semi-sheer. It is a size 12-14 large. It is in excellent condition, Gently Loved. And our next item is Susan Graver chocolate brown pull-on wide leg pants, new with tags, new with tags. These are comfortable, easy pull-on pants designed with a relaxed wide leg fit, elastic waistband for all-day ease. The fabric has a soft, lightweight feel with a natural drape that moves easily without clinging. The rich brown tone is versatile and grounding, easy to pair with neutrals, soft prints, or layered tops for everyday wear. The size is large, and again, it is new with tags. And our next item is Denim & Company coral pink button front top with floral embroidery. It is soft, comfortable, and has a feminine touch. It features a flattering V neckline, full button front, and delicate floral embroidery near the hem. It's perfect for layering year-round. It is a size large. The condition is gently loved and excellent condition. The fabric is soft knit, it's comfortable and breathable. This is Just Debbie. Thank you for spending time with me. Happy, calm, and peaceful shopping. Remember, the item links and shop link is in the description. This is Just Debbie Live Shopping and Resale.